right, good morning, YouTube. So it is early Monday. The sun is just coming up. Matt just left for work. The two boys left for school. Mason and Mina are still sleeping. Mina has been fed and changed already this morning and has gone back to sleep. So I have a few minutes of quiet time by myself. So I thought I'd spend it with you. I've gotten a lot of comments, a lot of excitement from people who really want to start learning how to can. So last night that was really exciting, kind of answering questions and enjoying the buzz. There is my habanero apricot jelly that I made last night with you guys, yesterday I should say. And I got a lot of questions about the process before I can and the process after. So pre-canning and setting up and post-canning for the whole cleanup kind of thing. So today my goal really is to do two things, hopefully. Amongst my other things, I did all my laundry last night, but I've got to fold it all now today, and I have diapers to put together. So those I have to do, but today I really want to get to making some just basic, simple jelly, which I'm going to film for you guys. And also, I'm going to try a new recipe, cream cheese biscuits. With it's herbed. My husband always laughs when I say herbed. It's herbed cream cheese biscuits, and it's from of course my favorite King Arthur flour. So I'm going to make those for dinner because we're going to do a breakfast dinner tonight, and I want to film that with you guys too, but I really want to film like a simple canning jelly recipe for those of you who really want to start and just want to start off with something simple. I know I've done grape jelly with you guys. I will leave that link down below. That one's really easy. The blueberry jam is not hard, although, you know, when you're dealing with extra steps, it can get complicated and a little overwhelming if you're brand new to doing it. So anyway, we're going to kind of film this a little backwards for those of you who wanted to see my setup, my pre-canning and my post-canning. We're going to do it a little backwards because I'm going to show you how I clean up after I can, and then I'm going to then show you how I set up for the next canning project today. So here we go. Alright, I think I'm going to move you guys over a little bit. I have you guys plugged in because I have I forgot to put my my camera on the power cord last night, and I used up all your juice yesterday canning this, but so I'm gonna scooch it over as long as my cord will stretch. So here is the fruits of my labor from last night, from yesterday I should say, although I finished up last night. And it turned out beautiful in the jars. And so when I'm done canning, what I like to do is set it out on a towel. It's usually a bathroom towel because I like that they're thicker. I will set them out, and then I will just kind of flap the towel over, and this just kind of lets the jars come up to room temperature slowly without any, you know, I live in Michigan. My counter is right near my window, so I don't want any drafts getting to my jars. I just want them to be able to seal on their own and come up to room temperature without a draft on them or anything like that. So I just cover them with a towel. These came up to room temperature pretty quick last night, so before going to bed I didn't have to wrap them in a towel. I just laid them on a this is a flour sack towel, but I still don't touch them. So once you get them out of the canner and you get them set up on your towel and you fold the flap over, just leave them. I like to usually leave them 24 hours if I can. My kitchen is the hub of the home though, So usually if I'm done with the canning, usually I finish a canning project in the afternoon. Last night I finished about 5 o'clock, I think it was. So, and I think it's 8 o'clock in the morning right now. So the jars are cool. The jelly has set, as you see. There is no movement in here. It is beautiful. It is nice and thick. Jars are cool. All of them sealed, so you can check them. No hollow sounds. So now it goes through the process of getting the rings off, checking the seals, because that's what I actually want to do. So I want to take off the ring, which will get washed. I'm going to check my seal. I'm going to see if I can move this at all, my lid. You can even hold it by the lid to check it, but I want to make sure that they're nice and set on there. And then once I do that, we're going to go ahead and take them over to the sink and give them a nice hot soapy bath. Check each and every one. And of course, you know, the more canning you do, the quicker you get with it. Okay, and when everything passes, now if there was a lid that was loose, what I would do is still I would put the ring back on. I would still wash up the jar, label it, and then I would just put it in the fridge and we would just use it right away. But since these all took, these can all safely go on my pantry shelf. Now I'm going to take you over to my sink. Okay, I think I have you set up where you can see me clean all the way across here. So what I like to do, I like to keep, this is just in general anyway, I like to keep a white bucket in one side of my sink, just because I always like a bucket of hot soapy water. Doesn't matter if I'm baking, canning, cooking at the stove. I like to be able to rinse off my utensils or my measuring cups as I go and throw them in the hot soapy water. That way big pieces I can just hand wash really fast and get them dried, or they can get loaded into the dishwasher and all the gunk is already soaked off of them. That's just the way my grandparents did it and the way my mom did it and just the way that I do it. So I'm lost without a bucket in my sink. So we're going to get some hot soapy water here. This is just Dawn. I use plain Dawn soap. And I'm going to throw in my rings because these have sticky jelly on them. So I'm going to let them soak. Get my rag in here. See a piece of pepper on the side of my sink. Alright, so then one by one I'll grab a jar, dip it into now you don't want to submerge your jar, but scrub it up on that side with some cooler water. I like to make sure that you wash up, I'm going to turn this off so that you can hear me. You want to make sure that you go around the rim of the jar, all around here, because this is where it's going to be real sticky. Make sure you scrub that up. And this way, you know, if you pull a jar off your shelf and give it to somebody, it's not all gunky and that stuff can mold. Wash your jar. And then give it a good rinse. And give it a quick dry. And voila, a nice clean jar. Now I have one of these drying mats on the side of my sink here. You can use one of those. You can lay down a towel, whatever. But this is how I do it. So let me do one more jar for you. And I usually get up early before, well, now that I have Mina, it's kind of hard because she wakes up early anyway. But I like to wake up, especially before Mason gets up and I have to make breakfast or anything like that, just to get this done and out of the way. And then that way I can kind of start my day, whatever it is I have planned, fresh. And these are already on the shelf. And I don't have to worry about anything. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wash up all my jars. And when I'm done, I will come back and I will show you how I go ahead and label them. Okay, I'm going to make a quick mention too about the rings. When you go to wash the rings, when I wash the rings, I just go ahead and I take my rag here and I squeeze it all the way around, and then I just go around it a few times. And usually if you soak them in hot soapy water like this, any kind of sticky will come right off. And then give it a quick rinse. Make sure you dry these because these are just tin and they will rust if you don't. And there's really no reason to ever, you know, have your things rusted on you. If you keep them nice and washed and dry, they'll last you a long time. I've had my rings and been using my rings for 2 years. And most of them still look like brand new. So just thought I would throw that in for any newbie out there on how to wash the rings. I want to make sure I don't forget anything for you guys. These kind of videos helped me out a lot when I was learning how to can. Because canning was intimidating enough, but to be honest, I was just afraid to like even just get started. Like I just didn't even know where to get started. Like how do you set up? You know, what's the process in that? So that's why I'm going to share this video with you in hopes that it will take a lot of the intimidation away and canning won't seem so scary. I know a lot of people worry about poisoning their their families and killing them. I guarantee you won't if you follow the proper steps and the guidelines and you know, the right recipes. You'll be fine. So here are my jars. Now I'm going to go ahead and get them dried up and I'll be back. Okay, now everything is nice and dry. Everything is clean, including my rings. Now my rings, I'm going to go ahead and throw them back in my ring box. I will take you over to my canning shelf and show you that, where I keep those. And then as far as this goes, I just have to find a Sharpie that actually works in this house. Every time I go and buy myself Sharpies for my canning, somebody steals them. So then what I do is now, I love my pretty jars and I love seeing my pretty jars up on my shelf. I do not like putting labels or stickers on my jars. I like them looking like this. So I write right on the top. Plus, when you write on the top with a permanent marker, it's not going to rub off. It's not going to wash off. It's going to stay on there nice and safe. It's not going to deteriorate it or anything like that. So I've had really good luck with just writing with the Sharpie right on the top of my labels. What it is and the date that I canned it. Now, I used to write the whole month, the day, and the year when I first started. Now I just put the month and the year. So I'm going to put on here habanero, apricot, jelly, and 11/15. And that's it. So that will then go up on the pantry shelf. So you can just keep writing. I like to I like to write on one and then rest my arm so it's neater on all the other ones. Habanero, apricot jelly, 11.15. Okay, and that's it. And then all of these will go right up on my pantry shelf where I keep all my canned goods. I used to keep them in my cupboards, but I quickly learned with all the canning that I did that jars full of food, glass jars full of food, are very heavy. And most cabinets on your wall cannot hold the weight. So I kept them for a while in the shelving on the bottom part, you know, under the counters. But then I quickly learned that shelving can't take that kind of weight. So that's when I went out and bought a shelving unit from Sam's Club that can hold 1,000 pounds. I believe it's 250 pounds per shelf it can hold. And now I've had no problems with my shelving buckling or worrying about my cabinets falling off the wall. So definitely if you plan on doing more than, you know, just a little batch, random batch of jelly here and there, and you're actually going to start canning your food, you know, not only just making jellies and pickles and jams, but also you're going to move into pressure canning and actually pressure canning your food. You might want to invest in some shelving that can hold up to the weight, because that was a lesson learned for me for sure. So let me gather up my rings here, and I'm going to take you off the tripod. I'm in desperate need for some tea this morning. My throat is so dry. So let me walk you on over here to my... Now this is where I keep, I've showed this in another video, but this is where I keep all my empty jars. Over there, I keep all my filled jars, and that's where my apricot jelly will go. But here is where I store all my empty jars. And in here, I have a box that I keep all my extra rings. And then in this box here, I keep all of my lids. So, in this box here, I keep pectin, and this is pectin, but it won't fit in this box because I've kind of got it overfilled here. But this is how I kind of keep everything at least together. As you see, I have a lot of empty jars, so I really need to step up on the canning. So today I was planning on making cherry jelly. But I'm thinking I want to keep it simple. So I might do apple and peach. I have all my canning stuff in this basket. These jars have already been washed and cleaned. They just need to be sterilized. But I'm going to show you that process just so you guys know how to prep your jars. And over there I have my canner out. I have my cast iron pot out. I just prefer making my jellies in there. It's just really easy. So anyway, this is the post canning, and I was going to put the pre-canning with it, but I'm thinking I might just make a separate video with that too, because I don't want to make this too long. But that is how I do it during the cleanup process. It's real easy. You just want to make sure you check it. You know, you check your jars. You make sure everything, you know, sealed properly. Wash them. Give them a good bath. Label them, because you don't want to forget to label them. And then they're ready to go. They're ready to either give or to use. So, alright guys. I will post this up, and then I will come back, and once I get some tea down my throat and my voice a little better, and I will come back and do this setup for making some simple jelly with you guys.